It's got to be slow. Oh, there we are. Now we're live. Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. You know, it's that time again where we do another live session of our Heat Press for Profit podcast. Now, this has been an ongoing series where we are talking about all things AI and really jumping into not only understanding how it's, changing artwork, the workforce when it comes to creativity, and then, of course, how it affects the apparel decoration world. So, today for part 3 of this series, and if you want to catch a replay of the other two, you can stream those on any platform where you listen to any podcasts, or of course you can go back to LinkedIn, Instagram, you can go to Facebook and YouTube and rewatch those live sessions if you want to see us in person through the conversation. So everybody, welcome back. Dane Clement, he's just the pro of all things art. And in this episode, we are exploring how to optimize AI generated artwork for heat printing. We're sharing essential tips for prepping your designs and ensuring the best print. So today we are really going to go over how to optimize for design resolution, color, and then what materials could potentially work best for a design that Dane is going to actually walk through. Now, before we dive deep, I will tell you that today's episode, if you are listening, is going to be a highly visual one. Dane is actually going to work through the process, give you an overview as to how his mind is working and how to do it. And then I will follow along in terms of, just heat press solutions and really how to make that work for all heat printing. So just know you can still listen live. He'll walk through it, but visual might also give you an entirely different world into what we're doing. Hold on. Jeff said, when I see this title, all I think of is the Terminator had a laptop and heat press.
It's coming. I'm sure it won't be long. Sit tight.
It's definitely been one of those, I don't know. I feel like it's been a giggly Friday and it's only 11 o'clock here in Kansas City. So, Dane, I'm going to let you kind of run with this one. We've gone over a lot of things about AI, and so we don't keep hitting on the same thing in terms of platform, things to be aware of, what you need to do next. Let's just dive into it, and right. I'm going to let you take control.
All right, cool. So, well, since it is AI artwork related, we're going to talk for a couple minutes about all the changes and all the new, and it's crazy because it is so hard to keep up, right? My brain ain't a computer, and it changes on a daily basis. So it's fun, it's exciting, it's scary as hell, like the Terminator thing. Good thing. Keep thinking that stuff because it's coming to get us one day. Maybe not the art part of it, but all the rest of it. So I'm a Midjourney user mainly. That's my go-to. If I'm going to create something, that's where I go. That's a paid for app, right? There's a lot of free ones out there, but I still fall back on Midjourney pretty much all the time. There's a new one recently. It's called Flux that came out. If you guys played with that, it's pretty powerful. It's got its strengths and its weaknesses kind of thing. But it's the newest, hottest thing, right? I think in the last week or two kind of deal. So it's always changing. And I'm sure next time we have this one, this podcast, or we come back to this AI theme, Kelly, it's going to have some new stuff as well, right? So it's absolutely insane. And a lot of the things are free. So if you don't want to pay for a Midjourney subscription, I get it. I mean, totally understand that. There's a lot of free ones. Ideogram is probably my favorite free one. Leonardo is pretty solid. Now, Leonardo was .ai, right? That was bought by the guys that bought by who bought them? Serif, or the people that bought Affinity Photo. So it's Canva. Yeah, see, every day something changes and it's hard to keep up, right? So Canva bought Serif, which is Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer and that sort of thing. which is the Adobe competitor, which is a great piece of software, by the way. If you haven't tried it, go ahead and give it a shot, because it's a one-time payment of like $70. But actually, I saw an email roll through today that it's 50% off, and it's always 50% off. So if you see it at 70, don't buy it. Just wait a couple of weeks, and then they'll put it on sale. But it's killer. One-time payment, boom, done. Not every month like Adobe. So that's pretty awesome. And now today, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I optimize something. And optimizing, what I mean, so if anybody that's ever been in any of my classes, and I've done thousands of them, I have something that I call file optimizing. That is not what we're going to talk about here, right? So file optimizing is when I take an image and we make it, the colors all, juiced up, and we clean it up, and we do it. It's just a set of 6 steps. And we may do it if we got time. I don't know. We'll see how fast I talk, right? So but it's a way to take my original image, whatever it is, generated in AI or what, because most of the AI apps are generating raster files, right? A few of them will do vector. A lot of people will generate something in, say, Midjourney or any of the other ones. It's a raster file. Then they'll vectorize it, which is another step in the process, that sort of thing. But for us today, we're talking DTF transfers. We're talking full color. So no need to vectorize, right? We don't need to cut it with vinyl. We don't need to cut it down to 2 colors, right? Necessarily for screen printing. I mean, if you do, that's fine. You can do those kinds of things. But for right now, we're going to talk full color and that sort of thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to share my screen. Let's see what happens. I'm going to share this screen. Yup. Entire screen. This one. Share. All right. So what do we see in here, folks? I think I got it going on. All right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about Midjourney. So that's what this is, right? So now this is Midjourney run through Discord, and it's done. This is where I go, right? So if you like the Midjourney, hang on, I'm getting there, as their website, right? It's there and it's available. A couple of reasons I don't use it yet. Well, I do use it, but I don't use it a lot, and I'm just more comfortable with Discord because I've been in it since day one. This has been more of a recent thing, last 6-8 months, something like that, maybe. And I haven't figured out how to do some of the permutations that I like in there. Some of them work. Some of them I haven't figured out how they work. So I'm sure they might. But anyway, that's what we're going to talk about. So I got some stuff in here playing around. So we're gonna play around a little bit here as well, right? So in Discord, Midjourney version anyway, I'm just gonna come in here and I'm gonna type in, I don't know, let's see, VW van on a beach, because it's summertime and it's kind of one of my jams. So I'll hit return. See, hold on. I'm going to stop this because that's one of my permutations that I dig, and I'm going to show you how to set it up. So let me get rid of it first, because I should have did this before, but I must have forgot. All right, here we go. Drum roll, right? We got a drum roll. Ready? Sorry. Okay, so what I want is a Volkswagen van on a beach. Very simple, easy prompt, right? So we'll see what happens. I do have it in turbo mode, so it should be pretty quick. Okay, so this is what we got, right? So we are t-shirt printers typically, right? Going to put it on a apparel or a garment or something. Now this is cool. I mean, that's definitely a typical Volkswagen old school van, right? Camper van or something on a beach, but that's a photo. And that's typically what all the apps do, right? Not just Midjourney. I mean, everyone I've ever played with was some of them would generate artwork depending on the model you choose and that sort of thing, right? There's a lot of things that go into it, but being Midjourney, so this is one of the things that it will do. So if you just change your prompt as far as optimizing goes, this one is kind of like always sort of what I do. So I'm gonna say t-shirt graphic, right, of a Volkswagen van on a beach, and now I'm gonna hit go, and we'll see what happens with this one. All right, so you see the difference. So looking at my screen, the first iteration, right, we had photographs and just kind of went edge to edge on the shape there, right, on 1-to-1 angle thing there. So if you look at when I said t-shirt graphic, it knows that, well, nobody wants a square on a t-shirt, right? It doesn't want to go full on to the edge. If I said I want a canvas oil painting of whatever, it's going to go to the edge. If I say I want a t-shirt graphic, though, it tries to do things like this, like open it up, roughen up the edges, because that it knows from all the billions of t-shirt designs that it stole from that are out in the world. It knows that a better t-shirt or the best t-shirts don't have solid, perfect square edges or perfect round edges, things like that, right? It breaks it up in some format or another. So this is kind of one of my all-time, always things to do in my prompting, because this is mostly almost 95% of what I do is for some sort of t-shirt or some sort of apparel. If I want to do a sticker or a patch, I might put those in there, but the t-shirt graphic breaks it up. Let's just I can just re-roll this one, right? So click it again. It's going to give us I'm gonna hit OK. It's going to give us another 4 iterations here. And we can see just sort of like a test is make sure that it's still going to break it up. And it does for the most part. I didn't tell it to put it on a white background. I didn't tell it to put it on a black background. That's the next part of the optimizing piece that we're going to talk about. So here's another one. You can see, again, the edges are broken up quite a bit, depending on the shirt color you go through, like for instance, this one here. And in Midjourney, this top one, I don't know if we I can't make my cursor bigger. Sometimes if I move it, there you go. So that would be number 1. What is this? I don't know what I did there. That's number 1. This is number 2. This one is 3, and this one is 4. And what that means is, why is this? All right, here we go. I don't know what I just did there, guys, but so if you look here underneath, I can upsample 1, 2, 3, or 4, or I can have a variation of 1, 2, 3, or 4. So let's just assume I want number 3 here. If I upsample it, right, it's going to go ahead and make it bigger. So I click on it. Now it focused in on that one and made it bigger. And this one is typically, and this is typical for almost all the other apps that I've ever played with, this is 1024 by 1024 pixels, which is a decent enough size to upscale for high resolution. So this is not finished. So that's part of more parts of the optimizing it, right, for us to be able to print from. So if I like this, and I kind of dig it, except I don't know what it did here. That is a 3-winged bird of some sort. Kind of looks like it might want to be a pelican, but it doesn't have a head. So I don't know what that is, but this is normal. These are the things that you got to fix, because it's amazing. Printing United shows coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to go walk that floor, and I will guarantee you, in fact, I may even take pictures of them, that there's going to have so many things printed on the floor that are generated with AI, and I'll be able to spot them, because there's a bunch that are just going to let this ride. They go, oh, it looks cool, even though it's got 3 wings. I haven't seen a bird yet with 3 wings. So you got to fix it. Photoshop's super easy to fix. Affinity Photo, you can fix it. It's not quite as easy, but it is easy. But if you like this one, if you put on a teal shirt, for instance, you can eliminate all this teal color in Photoshop or Affinity Photo, right? That's where you take these things and you have to finalize it, right? So if you go into this thing thinking, all right, I got this AI app. This is the greatest thing since sliced bread in, cold water, right? It's not. It is awesome. And I'm an illustrator and I dig it. And I also hate it, but it is amazing, and you can't not use it for the simple thing. It could be, if you're an illustrator like I am, and you draw things and you say, I hate AI because it's stealing my job and all this sort of thing. It's going to hurt a lot of people. There's no question, right? But if you embrace it and you own it, then you become more valuable to the company you work for or your own company, because you can get more work done. So what I use it for a lot is ideation, right? I start off with my concept this way. A lot of times knowing I can get some cool ideas. Maybe I'm going to grab bits and pieces and make it one, which we'll show you here in a minute. And I can then fine tune it or finalize it myself to clean it up and do whatever I want to do to make it mine. Now there's sometimes, depending on what you're looking for, if you could just say, give me whatever it is and it comes out and it's perfect, you got lucky, right? It doesn't always happen, but sometimes, you get lucky, right? So, so knowing that, I'm going to click on this. I'm going to download, or I'll save a copy. It's going to go to my downloads folder, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put it on where am I going to put it? I'll put it on my desktop here. Hey, Kelly, look, you got a podcast folder here. See? For today.
Oh,
All right. So I saved it. So we're going to go back to it in a little bit. A couple of things, the optimizing pieces that I dig about Midjourney is this. So what we did here is we came over. First thing I generated was that, gave me photos edge to edge. Then I just changed my t-shirt graphic in the front of my prompt. It tells it, okay, this will be a t-shirt graphic. It's going to kind of break the edge. That's what I want always, definitely. So the next things I want to do is I want to work some permutations, right? So and this is what I mean by that. So let's go ahead and create a new, like I'm going to imagine, here's my prompt. Let's say I want to do a couple of different things. I want to do a Volkswagen on the beach, but I want to do a motorcycle on the beach. I want to do a whatever. I don't know. I'm going to hit this little, I don't know what they're called, but it's that little curly Q bracket, shift key and hit the bracket, left bracket thingy there. So I'm going to say, what am I going to say? I'm going to say Volkswagen van, comma, motorcycle, comma, and convertible, right? Why not? Convertible. And if I put another permutations bracket there, I know you're seeing this. Let me see if can I move this? All right, here we go. So I have 3 different things inside those permutation. That tells Midjourney that, hey, I want 3 different things inside this prompt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, I'm just going to do on a beach. Now, if I wanted to, which I probably would, I'm going to hit a comma and just tell it to isolate on a white background. Now, why am I going to do that? Because backgrounds, white background will make it easier for me to remove the background. Because right now, Midjourney doesn't generate on transparency. The only one that I'm aware of at the moment that does that would be Leonardo, and it's pretty solid. So it's something to check out. So it's going to start generating 3 things, and I didn't tell it any kind of styles or whatever, but you'll see what I'm talking about here, right? So it did it. So here's a convertible. I didn't tell it what type. I didn't say a specific car. I could have if I wanted to. But this one's the convertible on the beach, right? And this one will be the Volkswagen van on the beach, and this one with the motorcycle. And it's barely on a beach on this one. These 2 have no beach at all. And then this one's kind of in the vein of the other ones that I was looking for, right? So you may have something here that you wanted to start with and work from, but it's just the reason I like to use those permutations is because if you have a line of things that you're working on and you want them to have a cohesive, feel to it, maybe the background part of it, this will give you that for the most part, right? I can get deeper on my, we can have a long full paragraph prompt if we want. I'm just trying to keep it simple for what we're talking about here. So the next thing that I really dig is this. So you notice I said I want those 3 things, and it generated 1, 2, 3, right? And I got my van and that sort of thing. But if I come down in here again, and I'm hitting my bracket key, by the way, right? For this one here to look for the imagine prompt. That's where I put my prompt. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this preferred suffix, right? And I get this window here. So same thing. If I put permutations, I'm doing this to say, my permutations are, hey, Midjourney, give me whatever I want here. So right now, though, as a suffix, that would mean every single time I hit go, it's going to do this. And this is what it is. I put the permutation bracket, little curly Q bracket, whatever it's called, and I'm going to say --V space, right? I want to do 5.1 comma. So that's Midjourney's version 5.1 model, which is a while back, right? I'll hit a space, --V space 6.0 comma. Same thing. That's Midjourney's 6.0 model, which was the latest up until, I don't know, has it been a few weeks, few months? I don't know. It's been a blur, but 6.1 is where we're at now. So what I'm going to do is hit a space, --V space 6.1, and then my little curly Q bracket there. I'm going to finish with that, right? So if I take a look at it, I have 1, 2, 3 things. I'm going to hit return. And my suffix is now all of these. So what happens now, which I think is pretty cool, and is why I like to do these things, is I get to see whatever my prompt is. I'm going to use the same prompt. I'm going to come in here, click on that, go to imagine. I'm going to paste it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my little curly Q brackets in here. I'm going to say, hey, give me a motorcycle, comma, right? Volkswagen van, comma, Convertible. Again, I'm not getting detail. I can say I want a 1969 Corvette, whatever. You can. That's totally doable, right? So another curly Q bracket. So I'm going to say I want a motorcycle, a van, and a convertible on a beach. Isolate. This must be my Cajun English. Isolated on a white background. I'm going to hit go. And Midjourney is going to say, hey, are you sure you want to generate, 9 prompts? I'm going to say yes. So why did I do that? Because it's going to generate 9 iterations of those things. And this is why. So we got 3 different things: van, motorcycle, convertible. But I want to see what it looks like in model 5.1, 6.0, and 6.1, right? So I can compare them. And a lot of times I find myself mixing and matching because the models have, a lot of people say, gotten better, and I suppose it does. But I'll be honest with you, 6.1 I'm not a big fan of. It almost like tries too hard with mega details and things, and it's just not kind of what I'm looking for. But it's just me. But that's the cool thing. I got 3 different options of all those different pieces that I can compare and utilize, and get a lot of things done, right? So this is still working here. So right now, this is version 6.0 of my van. Whoops, that's at the bottom now. Okay, so here's the motorcycle, right? So 6.1, if I click on it, again, it's not super mega detailed, but you got some nice bikes here. This is the only one that sort of kind of has a thing on it. Now, if you notice, I didn't say t-shirt graphic, which I should have. I just missed it. Happens even to the best of us. But here's a convertible. That's pretty cool. But a t-shirt graphic would have gave me a lot closer to what I'm looking for. So like almost none of these are what I'm wanting. Ooh, these are kind of cool. I dig these actually. I like those two. I like the postcard. Or the, what do you call it? Polaroid. Jeez, another P word. All right. So this one, don't know. But this is cool. So but you can see what I'm talking about. So every time I hit go, it's going to generate all that stuff. Let's take a look at this one more time. This is version 6 of the van, right? And this one is version 5.1 of the van, which I think is probably my favorite one. And then the van, where is it? We're 6.1. There we go. Right here, 6.1. So let's do this thing one more time, and then we're going to run because we're getting close on time, and I want to show something else. So if I do this and I do that, I'm just going to do the one van, but I'm going to say t-shirt graphic. I'm on my Cintiq, y'all. That's why I'm typing up here. Somebody said it looks like I'm coming to land a spaceship from the camera. I think that's kind of funny. So I was a big Star Trek fan. Okay, sorry. T-shirt graphic of a Volkswagen van, isolated in beach, white background. Go. Now I only got one thing that I'm asking for. I'm just asking for the van. So it says, are you sure you want these 3 prompts? And again, why is it giving me 3? Because I asked in my suffix to give me one of all the 3 models. So it's every time I hit go. And if you don't want to do it every time, then don't put it in your preferred suffix. Just keep it at the end. And if you want to see what it looks like in individual models, you can just type in the --V 6.1 or 6.0 or 5.1 at the end of each. If you what does this look like in 5.1, just do that and it'll give it to you in that model, right? These are all on actual shirts, not what I'm digging, but it happens. These are cool, right? 6.1 actually did a decent job. And again, it's not my favorite. So that's how I like to optimize my Midjourney. I am a Midjourney user. I use them all, but this is my go-to, right? So I'm going to go ahead and hide this. And Kelly, if we got a couple more minutes, right, I'm going to jump in on just kind of walk through one of the designs that I actually used and totally didn't use. That makes sense?
You definitely have some time. And for those of you that are tuning in with us, if you have any questions, I did see that there was a question about the app that you were using. So I did let her know that it was Midjourney. Mm-hmm. Somebody did ask, I think it was supposed to be, what's a magpie? Or William said that's a magpie. I'm not quite sure what that one was on. But yes, you definitely have some time. Deborah did ask, can this be watched later? And yes, absolutely. You'll be able to go back and replay this live. That way you can see everything that he's doing, especially if you want to follow along. Cool. Okay, you're back up.
All right. So real quick on the Midjourney piece of it. The reason I use the Discord is because I can change that preferred suffix. I haven't found it on the website because I just don't use it since I'm comfortable in Discord with it. I just sort of stay there, right? So if somebody knows where it is in the website, let me know. I know I can use the permutations of I want a van, I want a convertible, I want a motorcycle in the website, but I don't know how to do the suffix. And I don't need to dig into it that deep because I already got this. All right. So one of our other real world scenarios is we did a couple of designs for was it the fan book? Fan something, Kelly? I don't remember.
Dang, it's the fanware guide.
Fanware guide. See, I said it. That was the last one that came to my head. I got it. All right. So this is how this project sort of fell together. So I was said, hey, I was asked by either you yourself or Jenna, somebody said, hey, can we do a bear, right? And these are the colors. So I'm like, okay, that helps. Very helpful. And we went from there, right? So I was told we want to kind of run in with a flag, I think maybe. So let's do that. So first thing, there's my color, so I know what to use. And then here is the finished design, right? Which I dig. I thought it was great. So I'm going to basically walk you through how I did this little bear guy here. And I used Midjourney. Didn't get a lot of good stuff, but yes and no. You be the judge. I'm going to show you. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of hide this. I'm going to go to the bear design. So just to show you all the attempts that we did. So I was looking through a bunch of bear mascot heads and just trying to find stuff, that struck me kind of what we were looking for. So I'm just going to kind of scroll through these so you get an idea. And all this stuff is Midjourney bears, by the way. And a lot of these are great. I mean, that looks super cool. And he might have been one of them that I almost went with, but I dug that one. So as you see, if I wanted to use these, super easy. I done, right? I don't have to fix it. It was the super clean looking. I can remove the background in like half a second in Photoshop or Affinity Photo, no big deal. And I could roll with them, right? So, and of course, the idiot in me is, and there's a big one. I'm just going to tell you, I can never go with it. I got to make it mine. And I know I should go with it. But it's the artist in me that just doesn't want to just say, okay, that looks perfect. And it kind of does and roll. But watch when you just wait till you see what I did. So they wanted vintage was basically the top priority, right? So vintage with a pennant flag or pulling a flag or holding a flag, whatever it might have been. So I'm thinking, looking and pushing. And I get this for vintage. And I'm like, ooh, these are looking cool. But man, look how bad they look. It's almost like you say vintage and it says, oh, they must want a really crappy, low res, ugly thing, right? So you can see they're pretty bad. And just when you see stuff like this always bothers me. You got to fix it. Like, see this little thing? That's a watermark, not technically a real watermark. So this inside of this one here. What that is again, since it just learned and stole everybody else's, IP copyright rights, right, from stealing the images on the website, on the internet, to learn from. It says, oh, these things must have this weird looking little, watermark. So we should probably put it in here. And they just sort of fake it and put one in there and mush it together, right? You'll never find these images anywhere else. They don't exist completely, but they just knows that, it has watermarks in some, and those are like that. That's the stuff that's just a bummer. These are pretty clean. Again, this bear over here has 3 arms. He's got a problem. I didn't dig any of it. He's got an imaginary pole here. Don't know where that rest of that flagpole ends up with that guy. I don't know. But you can kind of see that, this is, and the nice thing is all these different iterations, just took, a few minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe all of these combined and tweaking and changing. So I'm going to settle on this page because this page is kind of where I went from to do the whole thing, right? So looking at the guy running with a flag, vintage, old school style, I like this number 2, right? Because I just sort of liked his leg, but I like this head. So in my typical style, I'm going to take this head and I'm going to put it on this body, but I'm going to change that body because, of course, I can't let it ride. But you can see there's the one I went with, and you can see things like this again, right? That's watermark stuff that you can't use. And if you look at it, this is the 1024 by 1024 pixeled image, which I upscaled, by the way. And I'll just tell you, if you want to upscale, free upscaler is called this one right here. Upscale, UPSCAYL. It is awesome and it's free and it works locally on your machine. So you're not waiting in a queue for other people all over the internet to upscale their stuff. It is great. I use it all the time. So if you look at this, this is pretty bad. I mean, look at the quality. It's just terrible, right? And then here's the same image because I wanted his head. So I'm just going to kind of run through real quick, just show you the final process of how I went through them. If I can remember, let's see, swatches. Okay, so I guess I didn't do it, but here's the final bear. So you can sort of see the shape of the body, right? So I ended up putting long sleeves on them because that's what they wanted. We wanted a sweater type of thing, you know, put the W on it. And I don't even know, was that the final one? Let me see. Yeah. Okay. So we got a W there, football here. So, and we were able to add like a little shadow tint at the bottom of his leg. Now, if you notice, his whole body is leaning. He's running. That was my little thing. I wanted that. I got a different head on him. And if I come back over here and I show you, not that one, that must have been this one. Right. This one, he's very straight up and down. He's got short sleeve shirts on. So those are the things that I did being an artist. I just drew it in to kind of make it what I wanted in my head. And I think that's the biggest problem. So if you're not an illustrator, if you're not an artist and you don't really draw things, then you're probably going to have a whole lot easier time with this AI stuff. Right. But those are the kind of things that I don't say I struggle with because I got something in my head and it won't give it to me. So I'm going to get something close and I'm going to make it happen. And the cool thing is that makes it mine again, right? I took something that AI, no matter what app you use, generated, but I finished it out with, you know, what was in my head kind of thing, right? So that was the workflow process from this guy here. And oh yeah, let's see. Did I show all these? Let's see. Bear with the flag. Here's the bear head only. Yeah. So if you remember, take a look. So we got the dark brown on the outline, and I just added 2 more colors in here to kind of give it a little bit dimension. They're flat colors, but that was the style. That was the idea, right? So I just painted that part in Photoshop. I also brought this up in Photoshop and painted over it, like literally just super fast painted. And by the way, I'm doing it like this, as if you can see me. I have my Cintiq. That's why I type up here. My keyboard's above my monitor, and I can draw on my Cintiq. So I just use my pen and drew around it, and then I was able to finish the design pretty quickly because I didn't have to start everything from scratch as a thumbnail. So, and again, if you're not an artist, then you're probably going to be rocking and rolling. So AI artwork is awesome. And then I got to show Kelly, I'm going to do it. I'm going to show these because I had fun doing them. So we took the same stuff and I painted them custom boots because, you know, why not? So you can see his bear head on the top of the foot box there. Man, I just sort of did the rest like that because why not? It's super cool. And I like putting paint on stuff. So, all right, there you go. I think I'm done. Unless we got any questions, I got to go ahead and talk about them.
Oh, look at that. I was like, oh, look at that. There's like 20 of us. Yes, we actually do have a couple of questions. And this one from Richard said, how did we get the transparent background?
So that would have been done in Photoshop because you have to remove the art. So remember when we was talking about inside of Midjourney and I said, we need to, if you isolate on a white background, it's much easier. So if you do that, you can just bring it into Photoshop and, you know, just select the main subject or just erase things out of it, right? There's a couple of different ways you do it, but that's all done in Photoshop or Affinity Photo. If you use Leonardo.ai, again, it was bought out by Canva, so I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but right now it will generate things on a transparent background for you, which is awesome that no one else does. So there you
go. That makes it much easier for people.
Yeah, it does.
With my skills.
Sure. And I'm sure the transparent backgrounds are going to come to everything eventually, right? But it's the only one that I'm aware of anyway.
So the other question that we had from William is, what file types do you use for final products? And are you using touchscreen hardware?
So, okay, so the final product stuff is just PNG, high res PNG, right? So that's what you want to use that upscale software for, because that upscaler is going to take that 1024 by 1024 pixels, because that's only at 72 DPI, and you can upsample it or upscale it, and it'll go, maybe like 14 inches by 14 inches at 300 pixels per inch, and that's a high res file. So once you get it there, then I just export it as a PNG on a transparent background, and I use that for everything, because that PNG, it can do a couple things. It can keep your color profile in there if you want, right? So whoever you like, if you send it to Stalls or Transfer Express, it can utilize that when it generates. So if you want a specific color profile, or you can just use sRGB, and it's going to use a generic one to match the colors that you see on screen. So, and as far as hardware, so I'm using a Wacom Cintiq, which is not, I have old school. This thing's probably 7 or 8 years old. So it is not touch. I have to use a puck, right? So this little guy right here gives me my zoom in and out, change my brush size, rotate my canvas, and then I draw using this pen. I put this extra because, carpal tunnel is a thing when you draw.
So William said that free use remove BG website removes backgrounds quickly and much cleaner than Photoshop. Have you ever had experience with that?
I've never used it. No, there's so many things out there. Like literally on a daily basis, you can find new and learn new. And I'm not going to lie, I got to get stuff done. So I'm going to kind of work with what I'm familiar with. But now that I know it exists, I will go check it out. I haven't had a chance yet, though.
Well, I mean, that's some great information for, a lot of people out there that are not familiar with. I'm like, remove the background. I just need the graphic, and I can't do it. And then guys, when it comes to the graphic that Dane was showing you for the final product of that bear, is we actually used Ultracolor Max, the direct to film transfer. And the reason why we chose that is because you have the ability to get full color, high detail, free floating text. There's no clear outline. And then you can even get photorealistic, quality. That's not the word I wanted to use, but photorealistic quality. So even if we were to do something like the VW van that he was showing at the very beginning, we could easily achieve that. Now, the artwork that we ended up using for the fanware guide, that could even have been turned into a goof-proof transfer and utilized 3-4 different screen print colors. But the cool thing is you have that flexibility with Ultracolor Max, whether or not you want to add more detail or reduce colors. The control is up for you. There's several other things that we could have shown within optimizing the artwork today. And as we continue on, I think we are scheduled for 1 or 2 more podcasts about AI. As Dane said at the very beginning, it is constantly changing and it's ever evolving. So even when we have a conversation in the next, say, 5-6 weeks, there could be something completely new that we need to add on and talk about. But with what you guys are experiencing, I'm curious if you have any specific questions, or if you would like to see, a specific tutorial from Dane, or really just talk about specific markets, right, that could be utilizing the AI artwork. So please feel free to comment those in the chat down below. And of course, if you're catching this on replay, you can head to our Heat Press for Profit group on Facebook, and we are always taking suggestions and questions there as well. And of course, the more people that ask the same question, then that's definitely a red flag for us to go, hey, we really need to talk about this and get some answers out there. So Jeff, we appreciate the comment. He said, great tutorial. I hope I can get to the point where I am able to use 10% of yours.
You can do it. You'll do it.
It's funny. There's times where I'll listen to Dane and I'm like, yes, I'm going to learn today. And I'm like, he's already lost me. he already went too much was covered, but I think that there was a lot of really good information that he went over. So hopefully you guys found this valuable. And if you are listening via podcast and you're not able to see or follow along visually, just remember you can go check out that replay on one of the platforms where we stream every Friday. I don't see any other questions coming in at this moment in time. So we are going to wrap it up. Dane, thank you so much for your expertise once again on the
Thank you.
podcast.
You know, I love doing it, so no problem. It's always fun hanging out.
Well, we love having you. And everyone tuning in, thanks again for joining us live. And of course, have a great weekend and an even better Friday. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Yeah.